Alright, this is my third big bore Stihl 076, 075 that I've done. Pretty much the same deal as the other ones. I mean, I took the best parts that I could find. Started with a good solid case and crank. Nice bore. It does have a new piston rings, OEM piston rings. It's not the $35 Chinese piston in there. It's the OEM Stihl. Crank was nice and tight. The case was good. It's got one mount broke off up here, which pretty much just holds this top corner of the muffler cover on. Doesn't really affect a whole lot. I mean, you will lose a little bit of strength. You hit this hard enough, it probably will crack somewhere down in here with that mount missing. Just don't beat it around, you'll be fine. The bottom of the case, like 9 out of 10 of these saws, there's a thin part of the casting down here. Most of these get broke right out from setting the saw down on a rock or something. This one was cracked and dented in a little bit. Somebody at one time had taken and made a little patch down here. I probably could have made it a little bit prettier, but they did a pretty decent job. It's doing what it's supposed to do, and that's pretty much just keeping the chips out of the bottom of the case there. There's just a small void in there. Pretty much just makes up the bottom of the saw. Pretty good the way it is. A lot of the recoil parts have been replaced. New crank seals, oil pump driver and seal, fuel lines, carburetor's been rebuilt, new clutch drum and cover, air filter, the bar and chain. It's a new old stock roller nose steel bar, 404 chain, full comp semi-chisel chain. A lot of compression on this. I did not put a compression release on it. It's not that big of a deal. The saw runs so well. If you wanted to add one, you could. It's really not that big of a deal. If you can't start it, you probably ought not to be running it. It's a beast. It is a beast of a saw. And there's no reason why it shouldn't perform as a new saw did. These were pretty much one of the saws that gave Stihl the reputation that they've got today. They were really well made. You could take all the plastic on this saw and you might be able to fill a tablespoon with it. The new ones are pretty much all plastic. This is it's a heavy saw. It's probably close to 30 pounds. So you probably wouldn't want to lug it around all day, but if you want power, these things got power to burn. Not quite as much chain speed as the newer saws, but what they lack in the chain speed, they make up for in power. These are a beast. These are a beast. And this is a pretty nice one. Pretty nice one. A lot of new parts on it. Give you a cold start here. It's probably about 55 degrees in here. Everything works on the saw. All the trigger interlocks, kill switch, choke. Everything functions just as it should. Saw runs pretty good. I haven't cut any wood with it. I'll leave it up to the new owner to do that. The carb's set at the factory settings. I mean, you might want to tweak it a little bit depending on your elevation and what you're doing with it. But it's pretty much how you would get it set up if you were buying it out of the box. It ought to make somebody a hell of a saw. I'm half tempted to just keep it around, just for shock value, but gotta pay my taxes this year. This is gonna help. It's a nice saw. You're gonna be hard pressed to find a nicer example of it. Ought to keep you cutting big wood for years. These are great to work on. Great to work on. A lot easier than some of the newer ones. And like I said, this is one of the saws that gave Stihl the reputation that they have today. Your chance to own a piece of history. So, all right. Thanks for looking.